Hi, everybody. It's July 23rd, 2024. And this is my video journal diary of my recovery from the death of my brother, my little brother, Paul Kierans. There he is on April 28th, 2022, his 64th birthday. And that's a cake that I brought his group home, L'Arche. L'Arche is spelled L'Arche. L'Arche terminated my visits with Paul about 4 months after this photo was taken, because when I complained that they had forged and created a fraudulent power of attorney, making my 81-year-old nun's sister 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario Paul's guardian and substitute decision maker. This is a drawing of Jesus that Paul made during a visit. I did the drawing and he colored it in. I'm so proud of it. So today I'm thinking about various world events and their impact on my recovery journey. I have been referred to a trauma counselor by my family doctor because of the traumatic circumstances of Paul's death. Paul was isolated and confined to his group home by L'Arche. L'Arche is a cult created by two SEX offenders, Jean Vanier, a retired naval officer from the Canadian Navy, and a disgraced, defrocked, excommunicated Catholic priest from France, Thomas Philippe. In the 1950s, they started group homes for the most incapable adults and then preyed upon the workers. Well, what we know it now as after Jean Vanier's death in 2019 is that they preyed on the female workers at these group homes around the world. This didn't affect in any way governments continuing to pay and use these group homes created by L'Arche, L'Arche. Google Jean Vanier, JEANVANIER, and L'Arche, L'Arche. So Paul, I wasn't allowed to visit with Paul after September 12th of 2022. And I turned every I took every legal step imaginable up to the Supreme Court of Canada twice, trying to restore my visits with my little brother, who we grew up together and visited at will. After he started staying in group homes when he was in his teens, I taught him to print the only word that he could print, his first name, Paul. And that was the only word that he could read. He was profoundly mentally handicapped, never functioned above the level of a 15-month-old. He was not capable at all of appointing a substitute decision maker, and he never would have appointed my evil nun sister, with whom we've never lived, and who has contributed nothing to his care his whole life. She is a member of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Sault Ste. Marie, semi-defunct group of nuns that ran residential schools for First Nations children. Anyway, so the recent events in the world news have affected me. Paul, I was told by my sister's evil lawyer, Casey Deanshaw, on April 15th that he had had a stroke. I found out later he had had a stroke 2 days earlier, but they didn't tell me. They waited until the nun could fly in from North Bay, Ontario, before they told me. And then my sister restricted me to 10 minutes a day of visits, although I sat in Burnaby General Hospital for 10 hours a day, every day until he died. He only lasted 10 days. He was admitted to Burnaby General Hospital on April 13th of 2024, and he died at 10:15 a.m. on April 23rd of 2024, 5 days before his 66th birthday. He could have expected to have a longer life. My dad lived to 100. My grandfather lived to 100. We've got long-lasting genes in our family. And he wanted to live. I had posted on here that when I visited him, the second visit, he sat up, he grabbed a book from my hand and started turning the pages perfectly. And he looked me in the eye. His right side was less affected by the stroke than his left side. And he was able to look me in the eye, and he seemed very excited to see me. I then received some information that the government agencies were investigating my sister and the fraudulent power of attorney. And I believe that my sister instructed my brother's doctor, or the doctor at Barnaby General, to kill my brother by sedating him to death. So he was recovering, and he wanted to recover, and the vast majority of people recover, and many are unaffected by strokes. But they sedated him, or they administered some kind of toxic substance to him that caused him to go into a relapse. So after the visit where he sat up and he grabbed the book from my hand, the next visit he looked virtually dead. My sister said to me, "Say goodbye to Paul, he's dying." She is the most evil person I've ever personally met. She didn't look me in the eye when she said it. So although Paul was struggling to recover, his health was still very fragile, and he could not withstand the sedation effects of whatever they gave him. Also, they took away his ventilator. He had been on a ventilator, and they took away his catheter. So I'm recovering from the trauma of watching my brother be killed before my very eyes. It's not just like watching somebody die, it's watching somebody be killed. I believe that my sister wanted my brother killed so that the investigators, the government investigators, could not get an authentic signature from him. So as I'm struggling to recover from that, I'm traumatized again by watching events on the world stage of Joe Biden. Joe Biden, perhaps improperly, wanted to continue to run for president and act as president. But what I believe happened is that his agency was taken away from him. And there's been very suspicious, he resigned from his candidacy, or his run. He resigned his run for the president of the United States by a post on X, formerly Twitter, that had an unusual signature. So it seemed to be a fraudulent document as well. It was underlined, and it had an S at the end. So Biden's. So we don't, and he has not been seen at all. There's been no proof of life since July 17th of 2024 of Joe Biden. And I feel like I'm just going through, watching my brother's agency be taken away by evil government evildoers. And I believe that they couldn't convince Joe Biden to resign because he was incapable, and he was incapable of making that decision. So they just took his agency away, and they're pretending that through various means, they're pretending that, someone who's in the background is pretending to be Joe Biden. So what I'm asking my Facebook friends to do is, please don't make political posts that I can see on my website promoting Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is an idiot. She went to a high school down the street from my high school in Montreal West, and she's has no record of success politically or in any other way. And she's just another, she's another figurehead that's being put in the place of an actual democratically elected president, which I don't believe is going to work, and I hope does not work. But in any event, as I'm recovering, you know, I feel very fragile, and I'm recovering from watching my brother be killed unlawfully, I believe. And I've told the British Columbia coroner that I believe my brother was killed by Burnaby General unlawfully. And I've complained to the College of Physicians and Surgeons. And to my understanding, there is an ongoing investigation. So while all of that is going on, and it hasn't been even a year, it's only been a few months since my brother died, please don't post anything about the election on my Facebook, where I can see it on Facebook, because I find it very traumatizing. I find the events very traumatizing. If I want to look for it, I'll go to the news, but please don't actually post it. So, Paul, I miss you so much. It's a very quiet summer. We could have had so much fun together, and I still automatically, whenever I hear of a movie in the park or a concert in the park or something that we could do together, I think of you, dear. I miss you so much. I've got no relatives left in the Lower Mainland, and it's very lonely. I'm hoping to see justice for you. One way or another, I do have faith that I'm going to see justice for you, and that the people that killed you will be dealt with appropriately. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Paul.